So yeah, as normal, everyone. If you've got questions for Louisa and Louisa, um, obviously just put them in the chat or unmute and speak aloud. Obviously, I'm going to start. Um, Obviously, I've spoken to Louisa, the director, previously on this one, but I suppose a really good question for me is what conversations did you have with the actors with relation to intimacy and like that? Because that's not something you just do rehearse, is it? What kind of conversations you have with the two actors?
Well, we had an intimacy coordinator with us, as well as a mental health coordinator. So we felt very safe in that aspect, and they were kind of our right hand women to make sure that everything was being done with the utmost care and respect. We were also very lucky that our two actors, Louisa and Jake, were friends already, so they kind of already trusted each other and had that comfortability with each other. We had a rehearsal process. We had lots of conversations about the subject matter. I was completely new to the words arousal non-concordance. It was a totally new area for me that I didn't know anything about. So it was a big learning process for me as well. Um, but yeah, lots of planning and lots of conversations and lots of safeguarding were in place for this.
Yeah. If I come to Louisa Sexton, the actress as well, then it's a similar sort of question, but I suppose obviously you were friends with the actor. How did you prepare for that? How did you two plan for that? And then the second part of the question is like, why Louisa to direct it? You wrote and was in it. Why did you want someone else to direct it? So like two questions really. I'm cheating.
Yeah, absolutely. So, before we came to the shoot day, like Louisa said, we had lots of rehearsals. It was actually during the time of COVID. We were really lucky when we were able to film. It was kind of in when lockdown was lifted. So a lot
Mhm.
of our rehearsal was done via Zoom. And Jake and I were very close, and we've worked before together as well. So it was just about constantly having, open dialogue, open conversations. We had a Zoom rehearsal with Elle McAlpine and Louisa, our so Elle was our intimacy coordinator, and like Louisa said, we had our mental health coordinator Laura White with us as well. So by the time we got to shoot day, we all, I hope, felt pretty ready and comfortable to do what we needed to do to kind of tell this story. And the second question, why Louisa? Well, she's brilliant, first of all. I saw her film The Call Centre, which I thought was just fantastic. And I had our amazing producers on board, Kat and Augusta, who both highly recommended Louisa. We had conversations, and I know that Lou really liked the script, and it was just really exciting to kind of work together to bring it to life in the best way possible.
Yeah. Um, and back to Louisa Connolly-Burnham then. Just tell us a little bit about how this film was received. I know without spoiling it, it did blow up eventually, but like, how was it received first, and how did that evolve with your audience going forward?
Mm.
Seeing this film, yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. We didn't actually. It's such a tricky subject matter, the ceiling, and we go there quite boldly in the film. We don't kind of shy away from the assault. We're pretty visceral with it, and I think that might have harmed our chances a little bit on our festival run. We got into some great ones, but I think we would have liked to have got into some more. But I think the subject matter made it harder because you never know who's going to be in your audience and who's going to be triggered by what. But then we had this amazing experience where once we'd finished our festival run, it got picked up by directors' notes. This was like a couple of months ago, and they've got a platform on YouTube, and it has completely blown on YouTube. It's got like over 1 million views. which is kind of insane, actually. I don't think I've ever had a film to blow in that way, like to garner that large of an audience so quickly. So it's encouraging because I think sometimes people get so focused on the festival run and it's so easy to get disheartened because there's so much rejection, but then you never know where your film's going to end up. And like the amount of messages that we get saying that, they felt really represented by the film or they've experienced it and it was kind of good to see it depicted like this and for us to be spreading awareness. And it's really found its people now and it's still growing like thousands, hundreds of thousands of views like every week. It's
That's
incredible.
amazing. It is amazing. Holly thinks I stole her question, but she's just mentioned there about the festival, but also like she's curious to know what it's like different responses between male and female audiences. So have you had any kind of direct feedback from male, females, and what sort of reactions have you got?
I think we've heard more from women
Hmm.
um, than men. Not that this situation doesn't happen to men. I think that sexual assault and manipulation, it's not gender specific. It can happen to anybody. But I personally feel like we've mostly heard from women that have really resonated with it. I mean, you can just see it in the comments of like the YouTube video and
Yeah.
on Letterboxd and stuff. And we receive messages on social media, but it's been really, really well received. It's been really, really lovely, actually.
Yeah. A good question as well, this one. The ending's shocking as the assault from Feely Films. I'd like to know, was this the original ending? Was it ever going to run? Like an incredible film, well done, all involved. I know we've touched on that before, Louise, when we had a conversation about the ending almost feels like what, but why are they acting like that? But like, was
Hmm.
that always the initial ending? And did you and other Louisa discuss how to end it in a different way, perhaps?
I think I'll let Louisa Sexton take that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, a really, really great question. The original script, I believe she exited the bathroom and she was really firm in what she thought was assault. And she, kind of said, look, I told you no, and you still did it anyway. That was the original idea for the ending. And then when Louisa came on board, we had a discussion and she suggested maybe she doesn't, maybe she comes out and she says sorry. And I thought that, and at first I thought, what? No, what do you mean? Surely not. But then the more I thought about it, I thought, wow, I think that's more powerful because it's going to mean that our audience will be left with more questions and will be left more confused. So hopefully it would be more thought provoking for our audience at the end with that kind of dissatisfying ending, I guess.
And also, I
Yeah.
feel like it's like the power of liking somebody and the
Yeah,
power of having a crush on somebody because what we don't get to see is the night that they've had before. And
exactly.
they've had a great night. I mean, you can see at the beginning of the film that they've got a wonderful chemistry.
Yeah.
And even though he crosses this boundary and he does something horrendous, she does kind of still like him and like
Yeah.
in a way she still does kind of want the second date. So it's like
Mm.
I've been in situations like that, putting up with a certain level of behavior just because I kind of, had a crush on somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of the whole story stemmed from conversations I would be having with friends who would be talking about, partners, whether they're long-term partners or, people they've been on dates with. And this situation is so kind of real and it's so common. And, at the end, often you do continue to see this person despite what has happened. So yeah, Lou's absolutely right with the dangers of, of a crush, I guess.
Yeah.
But, I guess we wanted this film to empower people who have been in this situation. So at the end, they feel angry that she's, apologized and hopefully give power to people to stand their ground and do the opposite to what Harriet had done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as I said, it's the fourth time I watched it, and I think I've said this before, but watching it with an audience, like especially with you two that created it, I was very nervous, especially that bit where the breakfast scene at the end. Like, I had a knot in my chest, thinking, I've seen it, I know this is going to happen, but I still. And do you know what? He got to shower and she didn't. Do you know? There's so many strange dynamics that are just, like you said, not just questions when we leave the film, but almost like I feel like I've been robbed or like that, but not everything has a nice cushy ending, does it?
That is so interesting that you have noticed that he showers and she doesn't. And I don't even know if that was intentional, but that is such an interesting observation that she also ends up leaving feeling like dirty in like more ways than one. That's such an interesting observation. No one's ever said that before.
Yeah, because the convention is when you see this in media, the woman has to shower straight away. I mean, she even brushes her teeth with her hands. It's
Yeah. It's so degrading, isn't it?
that's just from watching it multiple times. Obviously, I didn't pick that up in the first viewing, but that,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we have to leave it there, sadly. But I'm so glad you could both join us. Really, two Louisas for the Pace Award. Fantastic. And I hope, Louisa, you can be back for the next one. And actress Louisa, great performance. There was one particular shot where the just that was probably her where she was trying to process it, and the camera just stayed on you. Love that, absolutely love that.
Thank you.
So yeah,
Thank you so
great
much
performance.
for screening us. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. Yeah, so thank you very much for making us think and square and feel like we've got our questions to fight with answer. Love it. But yeah, thanks to everyone that attended as well. Really great.
Yes, thank
Thank you, Robin. Thanks everyone for being here. Have a nice weekend, evening.
You too. Thank you all.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye now.